how does small business move forward, especially when your primary source of revenue has been choked off and there's nothing you can do about it? Well, we're going to go all the way to Savannah, Georgia. And even in the best of times, minor league baseball, very iffy proposition. I mean, when you think of minor league baseball, typically you think of a lot of empty seats, and you think of shoestring operations that barely scratch and claw just to get by. Well, we're going all the way to Savannah, Georgia, where they do minor league baseball just a little bit differently. The Savannah Bananas are America's most popular minor league baseball franchise, well over 100 sellouts. This minor league team challenges all the conventional notions of what minor league ball is supposed to be. Yes, they go bananas, and we've got the guy, the architect, the man with the yellow tux. His name is Jesse Cole. And Jesse, thanks so much for coming on. And we got to hear about how you are doing right now, because one of the first stories I thought of way back when the crisis hit was, what do guys like you do? Because you can't have all kinds of fans in the ballpark.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to be with you. And I think it's a unique challenge for us. Our 90% of our entire revenue system is built on the games, and with thousands of people put together. And now we have experience with this, Garrett, because when we first started, I was a GM of a small team in Gastonia, North Carolina, and there were only 200 fans coming to the games. I mean, it was bad. There was $268 in the bank account my first day. So I was used to having very few fans coming to the ballpark like men or minor league teams, but we had to be dramatically different. So we made it about entertainment. And so now it's a fundamental question that we're asking: how do we do what we do best, which the name of our company is Fans First Entertainment, and fans first, entertain always. How do we do that in a way that is safe and fun? And so for us, we had to pivot directly right away, and we're a media company at first. Like, hey, we're entertaining people on social, and we are doing music videos where, we have our fans were in music videos with us, and we're sending out new lives with our people, a Facebook Live. So we became that with no revenue to build trust. And now it's, when we do come back, what does that look like? So it's a time of experimentation and innovation. And I think our staff is digging in, even though it's the most challenging we've ever been financially in the history. It's not even close. And this is coming off, Gare, 4 years ago when my wife and I had to sell our house, empty out our savings account, and we were sleeping on an airbed. Because when we first came to Savannah, we only sold 2 tickets in our first 3 months. No one even knew what we were. So this is even worse. This is 10 times it. But I think, if anything, hopefully we're ready to experiment and innovate and try things that have never been done before. And I think that's the right thing to ask.
Jesse, I know a little bit about your story. And you and your wife, Emily, to me, in some ways, you are right now symbolic of the small business owner, the small mom and pop operation. Just describe for people watching right now what the Savannah Bananas are as a small little company, and how you started, and now what you're facing a little bit.
To put it in context, we're not major league. We're not even minor league. We're one of the lowest of the low. I mean, if you look at the terms, there's Major League Baseball here, then AAA baseball, then AA, then high A, then regular A, then low A, then rookie ball, then independent ball, then college, then us down here at college summer baseball. So mom and pop is an understatement. I started as a 23-year-old GM. Like I said, only $268 in the bank account, 2 other employees, very, very small. But we had a bigger vision. We wanted to entertain people in the masses and create something that was different. So that first team, we started developing, dancing players, grandma beauty pageants, flatulence fun nights, you name it, we tried it all. And so we ended up getting up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 fans. And then we went to Savannah, Georgia. Savannah had professional baseball for 90 years, a higher level than we ever were. But me and Emily went to a game and saw there was only 300 people at the stadium for the New York Mets affiliate. And it was just a dead air. We looked, this is a great opportunity. Let's bring something, what we can do here. And so when we came to Savannah, October 5th, 2015, I'll never forget it, Gare, just to share, we showed up, the phone lines were cut, the internet lines were cut. It was myself, my wife, our 24-year-old president, and 3 22-year-olds that just graduated from college. And we said, all right, we're going to make this work. We called everyone using our cell phones, and everyone in the community said, we're not interested. We're not interested. We're not interested. You're college summer baseball. And so, we sold only 2 tickets. In January of 2016, I got a phone call that we overdrafted our account and we were completely out of money. And it was at that point that we dug in and said, all right, stop trying to be like everyone else. Stop trying to market like everyone else. We have to be dramatically different. We have to own what makes us different. And that's when we went all in on an all-inclusive model. Every ticket, all-inclusive, includes all your food, all about the entertainment for dancing players, a breakdancing first base coach. We said, we're not a baseball team anymore. We're entertainment. People don't like baseball, don't like the way it was before. That's not what they're going to get. And we named the team after a fruit and became the Savannah Bananas, and then started creating attention. And that's where it started. And that's where it's been the last 4 years now, from 2 tickets to every single game sold out and a wait list for tickets in the thousands. It's we pinch ourselves because of what's happened over the last 4 years.
So take us into the war room right now. Take us into what the Savannah Bananas are doing. You and Emily.
Yes.
Running this little company. Forget that it's America's favorite minor league baseball team. But what are you guys doing now to somehow keep things moving forward? Because, as you know, this is what we're talking about in these conversations, Jesse, with business leaders across the continent. How do you move forward when your primary source of revenue has been chopped? So any ideas that you can share that other people might benefit from?
The first thing we did, and whereas a lot of people would say, how do we bring in revenue? How do we bring in revenue? We said, how do we create more fans? What do we do right now to create more fans? So we got the whole team on board. Our rallying cry, I said, guys, every one of us are entertainers for our fans right now. While we're at home, how are we producing things for our fans? So every one of us took over different social media platforms for us and started coming out with ideas. We had an idea palooza and said, all right, bring everyone together. Let's own this. Whatever your job description was in the past, you're not doing it right now. We're not selling tickets. We're not necessarily doing the operations at the stadium. This is what we're doing. And so we went strong on social media and to connect with our fans and build trust and be there. If our mission is fans first, entertain always, now is the time that people need entertainment. They don't need it necessarily, right? They can't come and be together. Let's put them together in that community. So that's what we did. That was no direct revenue, but it built trust. Then the next thing is said, all right, what are these things that we can do that's a little different to diversify and offer more things for our fans? It's not how do you drive revenue. It's how do you serve more in different ways? How do you serve? And so we asked that question. We said, all right, our director of operations on a Friday happy hour, he said, hey, everyone loves our slippery banana. And we go, yeah, it's our alcoholic drink. It's at the ballpark. It's a special, it's like a pina colada. It's probably the strongest drink there is. It involves too many types of alcohol. Anyways, fans love it. And he said, hey, what if we just did a drive-through at the stadium for our fans? And I think we all said, is that even legal? And he said, I don't know, but I can find out. But I think, at this point, you can do drive-throughs. People are doing that. And so he said, all right, let's try it. And I said, well, how quickly can we get it done? It was a Friday afternoon. He goes, well, I can get the product. I can get mason jars. We can have it ready. We can do it next week. I go, perfect. We'll do it. We did it. We put it out on social media. All of a sudden, we said we had 100 mason jars. We said 100, that's all we're going to do as a test. First car showed up 2 hours before we opened. It was sold out in 25 minutes. So we said, let's do it again next week. We did the same thing. We doubled production. It was sold out in 23 minutes. Then this past Thursday, yesterday, we said, all right, let's do it again. Let's go to 500 mason jars. All right. And let's just put it out one more time, not putting any money behind it. Just put the post out and let our fans say, we had a monsoon last night in Savannah. I mean, a monsoon, like 4 inches of rain. We were like, there's no way we can do this. We're like, well, if we're fans first, if we're entertained always, we're there for our fans, rain or shine. Staff showed up, cars showed up an hour and a half later. We sold out of all 500 in a monsoon. And my point is that not to brag like, oh, look what we did. That was a model we never thought. We thought about what our fans love. How can we serve them? Give them the things that they love in a different way. And I'll tell you right now, I've been on the call with distributors here, and now we're talking about how do we distribute this product all over. So this may be a whole new business model that was developed by one idea that we said, let's implement it. And we did it. And it became a pilot, and we learned over the last 3 weeks.
I'm sitting here so inspired just by you right now, Jesse, because I always loved your story when I first found out about it, about a year or so ago. And then, but what I'm hearing right now is if you ask, and I'm just going to come up with the phrase right in the moment, if you start asking, if you're an entrepreneur right now, you need to start asking a bigger, bolder question. Is that basically what I'm hearing, with a servant first attitude?
Yes, 100%. Look at what you do as a scheme of things, the big picture. And we are entertainers and we are fans first. And how can you serve in a different way? And ask those questions, what if? We didn't know if it was legal. We were basically selling moonshine out of our stadium. We have no idea if that's legal. But we did it, we learned, and now we have this unbelievable potential product that can be a bigger picture. The same question we're asking right now, Gary, is well, what could we do to put ourselves out of business? Because that's what this virus is doing. So we said, what can we do to create a bananas experience that's even better digitally, socially, not coming to the game? And so we're going to ask a question: how can we show our games in a way and develop this type of bananas insider experience that will be unbelievable? And those questions you have to ask are, how can we show the players in a different way? How can we have drones? How can we have cameras in the dugout? How can we mic up players during the games? How can we have those things that give people an experience they want to have at the ballpark? And so you'll see, again, idea to implementation. In the next 6 weeks, we'll be launching a subscription experience that hopefully is better than anything we could ever provide.
Well, I'm going to jump in right now, Jesse, and suggest anyone watching start subscribing to the Savannah Bananas YouTube channel, their Facebook page. Start watching, because one of the things that I've always admired, Jesse, about your work is that you do things radically differently. I mean, he wears a tux 7 days a week. The cheerleaders, okay, they're not like the typical dance team cheerleaders at sporting events. What Jesse and his crew went out and did is recruited grandmothers. They're called the Banana Nanas, and the Banana Nanas do the dance routine. So what I'm saying is, Jesse, I'm just kind of setting you up for before the pandemic, before all this went down, you were already, going against the grain. While everybody zigged, you had a definite zag. What I'm hearing now is that the pressure of the situation is forcing even more creativity, even more ideas. And opening day, when baseball does come back to Savannah, is not going to be the same at all.
No, it's been the stem. We've asked that question always, Gary, and that's a great segue. Whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. And it's not just something we said, oh, that's a cool little tagline. Normal failed for us. Normal failed. We were on an airbed. We were down to our last dollar because we were trying to fit in like everyone else. So the question you ask, whatever's normal, that's what gets people excited. And, I learned a lot from Seth Godin and, his book, Purple Cow. What is remarkable? Remarkable is, are people willing to remark about it? People don't remark about normal things. So yes, a senior citizen dance team that are 65 and 70 years old that are called the Banana Nanas, people talk about them. People talk about our male cheerleading team called the Mananas that are now just called the Dad Bod Cheerleading Squad. So what are those things that you're doing that's remarkable, that's different? And so we ask those questions now, and we have to experiment even more. And I think that's everything for us. It changes. So we had a professional high fiver last year, a 6-year-old professional high fiver. We put it out. We couldn't find anyone until this 6-year-old showed up in our office, high-fived everyone on the staff. I said, kid, you got the job. And his job was to high-five 2,000 fans a game.
Goodness. Jesse, that you just pulled it right out of Seinfeld. Remember Putty? David Putty, all he wanted to do was do the high five, but you got a 6-year-old doing it.
We got a 6-year-old. We got him a jersey. His back, it said hi. His number was 5, and he had to get 2,000 high fives a game. He loved it. Well, that's going to change this year. So obviously you can't do that necessarily. So we've said, all right, we're going to do a whole video, with him saying, yeah, my job was in jeopardy with everything going on. And, this serious thing, but I had to think about what I could do. And he goes, so he comes up with this whole plan, shows these pictures on drawings, and he says, all right, I got it. And I was like, I didn't think he could do it. But he goes, I'm back. Introducing Colton, the professional air high fiver. And so now he's going to be the air high fiver. You don't take away with it, but now you're still doing it, and you're getting it in the ballpark. So whatever the limitations you have, think differently. You don't have to necessarily eliminate it. Just reframe it in a new way that could actually even be even better or more fun. And that's how we're looking at everything moving forward this year.
Hey, Jesse, is there something you can shed about the home front? Because with every small business owner, you and Emily and the little guy, Maverick, tell us a little bit about how you are managing to stay so positive. I mean, you and I are meeting virtually for the first time today. We had one phone call. We don't know each other, but we are connected via social media. But what I do know is this: every business owner, especially with a mom and pop operation, you take the business home with you, and somehow through it all, you got to stay upbeat, positive for your team. Share us a little bit about what's going on that people don't ordinarily see.
So for me, the door, whatever door it is, has become a trigger. Whenever I come through a door, I tell myself, bring the fun, bring the energy. And I think that is so important, whether it's your house door, whether it's work, wherever you go, And, right now, I think your family needs the enthusiasm, the energy, the optimism more than anything. So I am lucky, you're showing a picture of my wife and son that we just posted. We have the front porch project done. My wife and I, Emily, we choose a word every year. And ironically, in January, our words this year, mine was optimism and hers was gratitude. And what poignant words for this year. And the reality is every day we wake up, she writes in her gratitude journal. I write a thank you letter every morning and write in my journal. And every night before we go to bed, we do rose, rose, bud. And a rose is something great from the day, and a bud is something we're looking forward to. And by celebrating that, having a lens of gratitude and optimism every day, it helps us more than anything. This morning, I'm here with you. I went to the stadium here. I left at 7 o'clock this morning. Emily comes up, we hug, we say hello, and it's, hey, we'll be back together. We do videos when we're apart. It's the connection. I don't know if I'm an expert at this, but I know that it's something that trying to enjoy the moments, be there for your family, enjoy the laughter, the fun, the joking, with my 2-year-old, the tickling, all of that is so important to give you kind of perspective of what does really matter. And in the scheme of things, everything, as tough as it is for our business, and we're going to take a devastating blow. We may have to sell another house again. We may have to figure out what we're going to do financially. But in the end, it's the moments you have with people, and it's the fun, it's the relationships, it's the laughing, it's the silliness, it's the ridiculousness. And that's what we're trying to enjoy and live in the moment. So that works for us. And, I think it's something that maybe some people can get out of.
Well, not only can they enjoy this particular conversation with you, Jesse, but I also know that anyone watching has a chance to reach out via the wonderful social media tools we have. You've written a book, you've got a podcast. Find your yellow tux, I think, is your whole philosophy that everyone, and I think that might be a place for you and I to wrap up, is that for you, the yellow tux is the metaphor, and that now's the time more than ever. I'm always saying the same thing in every conversation. Never been a better time to work on your business. Never been a better time to build your brand in the online world, because it's the only world we got. And you're saying, if I understand the metaphor correctly, everyone's got a yellow tux inside them.
Yes. Everyone has something that makes them different. Everyone has something that makes them stand out. I've been so inspired by you. I remember when you told me a year ago, art without a story is just paint on a canvas. The reality is, what's your story? What makes you memorable? And everyone has one, but so often we're just so afraid. We want to fit in. We want to be like everyone else. You got to take chances. You got to experiment. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the moments we remember. We don't remember the same things that we always do. We remember the ridiculous, the unique, the fun, the different. And so I just tell everyone to lean in on that. You don't necessarily need to be a crazy guy in a yellow tuxedo, but amplify the best version of yourself. If this is who you are when you're a 10, amplify that. Every day, try to be that person. And it's amazing how great you will be for yourself, but even important, how great you'll be for others. And so in the book, I share basically how I went through that journey of trying to find what makes me different and use it from a business sense and also in my life. And I hope at the end, it's a great story, not just for me, but I hope everyone has that great story at the end of how they'll be remembered. And that's where the concept came from.
And anyone watching right now, I'm sure they could order Savannah Banana swag online. But you don't mind selling some T-shirts and ball caps right now, Jesse, to an online audience? You're okay with that?
Yeah, it's funny. Merchandise hasn't actually slowed down that much. And I think what's cool is that if you try to do things unique, we have Dolce and Banana underwear. So where teams sell T-shirts and hats, yes, we have those, but we have Dolce and Banana underwear. We have bandanas that we use for dogs, but people are buying them as face masks. It's just, you gotta have fun with it. So Savannah Bananas, we're fortunate. And one thing too, eliminate the things that your customers hate. Always eliminate the things their customers hate. So we have no advertisements at our stadium. Every ticket's all inclusive. We eliminate all our ticket fees, community fees. And now this year we made shipping completely free. You don't have to pay Prime. You don't have to do anything. We didn't raise prices. So we've that's been a good pivot for us this year, especially with what's going on with people staying at home.
Well, Jesse, you and I could talk for hours on end because we share very similar philosophies. But I don't mind sharing with you that your infectious blend of optimism and the gratitude that you exhibit is it's contagious. And I think that's the point of the series that we're doing with these types of conversations is there's something we can do as business leaders, Jesse, and I'll give you the final word, to make hope contagious.
I love that so much. I mean, be contagious in a good way right now. Spread good, spread fun, spread energy. And I think contagious is a word that's really looked upon negatively right now. Let's make it positive. And I think that's such a great message that you're sharing. And I'm so glad to be with you as always.
Well, I will wrap it up this way. And thank you so much to Jesse Cole for stopping by from Savannah, Georgia, and sharing his story. I will suggest that go to YouTube and watch their incredible documentary. It's about a 20-minute piece. Stop watching the network news. We already know what the news is going to be like. But if you really want to get some more bounce in your step, and when you watch the Savannah Banana story, the incredible rags to riches story of Jesse, his wife Emily, and how they took this dilapidated, broken down ballpark and an empty stadium and turned it into something spectacular. And then you listen to what they're doing now to stay ahead of the curve and to continue to innovate. Hey, you can't just fight. There's no way you can fight the peeling when it comes to the Savannah Bananas. And so on that note, we really appreciate Jesse Cole. You know, every day is a yellow tux day in Jesse Cole world. And follow him on Facebook and all the social media channels. And thanks again for stopping by for these conversations in terms of how small business moves forward, how we can all lead together better through these historic times.